Okay, here we are again, back in KG's kitchen. And what we're going to do today is, in the spirit of St. Patty's Day, which is coming up pretty soon, we're going to do a corned beef brisket and cabbage and vegetables in the Instant Pot. So that's what we're going to do today. This is my first time trying this in an Instant Pot, so bear with me, guys. I've watched several videos of people making the corned beef brisket and cabbage in the Instant Pot, and you know, any way you cut it, it's quicker than waiting 8, 9, 10 hours in a crock pot. I don't know how it turns out, like I say, because this is the first time out. But I'm going to do something a little different. I watch many videos, and everybody cooks their brisket for 90 minutes. 90 minutes, cook the brisket, then they'll put the veggies in. And I'm going to do the same method. I'm going to cook this first. But I'm not going 90 minutes. I don't think it needs 90 minutes. I'm going to do 60. I'm going to cook that for 60 minutes. It calls for three cups of water. I'm going to add a little bit of this. I'm going to add a little bit of this apple cider vinegar in there. Maybe a quarter cup or less. And I think that will help the corned beef brisket break down. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me clear this off, get this brisket out of the bag, and we'll get the Instant Pot ready, put this on for an hour, and then while that's cooking in the Instant Pot, I'll go ahead and cut these veggies up. Once it gets done, I'll quick release the steam, open it up, put the veggies I have cut up inside the Instant Pot, and I'm going to turn it on thereafter for about another 22 minutes. So about an hour and a half complete, which we all know, you know, the Instant Pot has to build up the pressure, so it's going to be longer than that. But any way you cut it, it's a lot quicker than waiting 8, 9, 10 hours in the crock pot. So let me clear this off, get this out of the bag, and we'll get it started. Okay, there's the brisket out of the package. That's about a little over 2.5 pounds, this one is. And I think what I'm going to do is cut this in half because it doesn't look like it's going to fit down in there very well. So I'm going to cut this in half, and then we'll put it down in there, put the seasoning packet on. We're not going to season it with nothing because it's already, you know, it's corned, it's seasoned. So we'll put this down in there, the seasoning packet on top of it, 3 cups of liquid, and we're going to set this on an hour. So let me get this cut in half. Fat's kind of tough to cut through at the bottom, but we'll get through it. We're almost there. Alright, now that it's cut in half, now that we got it cut in half, let's go ahead and get this thing in there. Quick about it so we don't spill anything, any of the juices all over the place. Okay, perfect. And then in the meantime, what I did was I put 2 2/3 cup of water and 1/3 cup of the apple cider vinegar. I'll tell you what, though, it smells strong. I think I'm going to start over that. I think that's too much vinegar, to be honest with you. I think what I'll do is fill it almost all the way up to 3 cups, the mark, and then maybe 2 tablespoons. Let me redo that. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Much better. It doesn't smell like straight vinegar. All right, and we're going to pour this over top of this. I'm going to open the seasoning packet and put in here. It's going to take 2 hands. Okay, seasoning packet is in. There's what it's looking like. So there's what we have. That's what we're going to start with right there. I'm going to set this, put the lid on it, set it on sealing. Let's do that right now. Let's do that together. Put that on there. Make sure it's on sealing. Turn it on. Manual. We're going to run this all the way up to 60 minutes. And there we go. It should kick on here in just a second or two. Right there. We're in there. Alright guys. So while this is cooking for an hour, I'm going to go ahead and chop up all the veggies that are going to go in. We'll take the lid off after the hour's up. Put those veggies in. Run it for another 22 minutes. Open it up and see what happens. So let me get started on these veggies. Okay. First we'll chop up our potatoes. And these we can chunk pretty big. If you see any bad spots along the way when you're chopping them, you can throw them away then. But I leave the peel on mine. So you get the idea on the potatoes. Okay, so next is our onions. And you know how I always say leave the hairy end on? Well, you don't have to when you're cutting them up for something like this, because you're just basically doing huge rough cuts. So that's pretty much it there, you know. We'll throw them in like that. So you get the idea on the onions. There we go. It just sealed off. It just sealed off. Now, after I got the potatoes and onions cut up, I'm just going to leave them in this water because normally you should probably do it closer to time that your brisket's done, but I went ahead. I want to get this stuff prepared so that when it is done, I can just throw it all together. So you want to submerge your potatoes. You don't have to do the onions. They were just in there. It's not going to hurt them. But submerge the potatoes in water in order to keep them from turning brown. So just a little tip, but you guys probably already know that. Okay, as far as the carrots go, I cheated. Now you could, you know, buy whole carrots, fresh whole carrots, cut them up yourself, but you know what? This here is just as easy. So that's what we're going to use as far as carrots go. So the only thing left to chop is the old cabbage. Okay, let me walk this over and peel the outer leaves off of it. Okay, that looks good to me. So, first thing we'll do is chop this end off. Set that aside. Chop it in half. This is a good sized cabbage. I don't know if all this stuff's going to fit in there, but we're going to try. That's for sure. Now I have found the easiest way to core this. Let me show you in a second. The easiest way to core this is cut it in fourths. Cut it again, right through the center of this. It's a tough cabbage. All right, and then once you got it cut in fourths, just set it up on end like this, and the core comes out just that easy, and then you're left with this. So, and I'm just going to chop this cabbage up. I'm just going to chop it up in wedges like this. Okay, just like that. And that's how it's going to go into the Instant Pot. So that's how you do the cabbage. Okay, there we go. As in previous cabbage recipes that I've made, it took 2 plates to hold that head of cabbage. I just didn't want it falling all over the place. So we got the cabbage cut up, we got the onions cut up, we got the potatoes cut up, and then the carrots we don't have to do nothing with because we bought a bag of cheaters. So the only thing left to do is wait for 54 minutes and see how this thing's coming along. So see you back in 54. There we go. 54 minutes later. That was the quickest 54 minutes I've ever seen. Alright. Now you know what we do now. Get something so you don't burn yourself. Quick release. Let me get this steam out of this thing. We're going to open it up and see just how this corned beef brisket is looking. Okay, it's taken about 3 minutes. 3 minutes to release all the steam. Let's open this thing up and see what we got. Always open it steam away from you. Steam side away. Lay this over here because it's going back on. Look at that. Would you look at that? Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this out and cut a piece off just to see how tender it is, because like I said, we didn't do this for 90, we done this for 60. I can almost tell already. Look at this. See how it's coming apart? Let's get some of the seasoning off there. Let's take this out and put it on the plate over here. Let's put this on the plate right here, and I'm gonna cut a slice off of this just to see how well it's done. Then I'm gonna go back in and we're gonna finish up. Okay, let's cut into this thing here. Let's cut into this thing. Just a small piece, because we want the better part of it back in there. Look at that. Let me show you something. The edge of my fork. See how easy that came apart? Okay? That is fork tender. Falls apart. So I'll tell you what, 90 minutes is not necessary. 60 minutes. And then we're going to put these veggies in. 22 more minutes. And I don't ask me where I came up with 22 minutes. That's just something off the top of my head. But I'm going to do 22 minutes in here with the veggies. Add it in with the corned beef. And I believe this is going to turn out absolutely delicious. So I'll tell you what. Let's get them veggies. Okay, so I got the meat back in there, except for that little piece there, because I had to keep some out for me. Don't drain anything. Leave the fat, the liquid, everything in here. You do this once a year, it's not going to hurt you. Next, we'll put the onions and potatoes in. Okay, I drained these off. So let's get the potatoes, onions right down in there like that. Next, we'll go with the carrots right on top of that. So open up the bag and in they go. I assume they're already washed. If they're not, the heat will kill anything else. Okay. And then after that, we're just going to top it off with cabbage. As much as we can put in here, because this thing's quite full. But I think we get the better part of it here. Just take your cabbage wedges, lay them right in there like that. Now I know I'm always saying that you don't want to pack it above the pressure cook max limit, but with cabbage it cooks down, so you don't want to overstuff it to where you can't put the lid on, but you can kind of stuff it with cabbage, because cabbage shrinks. It starts cooking and starts shrinking, just that simple. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a little bit left, because that's pushing the limit. Put the lid back on here. I'm not going to put any more seasoning in here or nothing. Put the lid back on, put it back to sealing. Let me grab this, use this to show you guys. Turn it off, turn it back on to manual. All the way down to, if I hit the right button, 22 more minutes. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to clean my mess up, and we'll come back in 22 minutes, take the lid off, and see just how everything is. I think it's going to be great. First time doing it. First time doing it in the Instant Pot, but I believe this is going to work out. So let's come back in 22, I guess. Well, 22 minutes has passed. 22 minutes has passed. Now it's time for the big reveal. We already know the meat was done, but now it's got 20 more minutes added to it, or 22. And then we got all those veggies in there. So let's see how this corned beef and cabbage actually turned out. Release the steam. It's going to take about 3 minutes or so, and then we'll open this thing up. Okay, there we go. All the steam is gone. For whatever reason, it took 6 minutes this time. Maybe because I got more stuff packed in there. I don't know. Well, here we go. Let's see what it looks like. Steam side away from you. Would you look at that? Look at that. Look at that perfectly done cabbage. So if that cabbage is perfectly done, then everything else is. Look at that carrot. To be honest with you, it might be a little soft. No, it's good. I'll tell you what, it smells phenomenal. Let me get this mixed up. Get some of this on a plate. And let's give it a try. Would you look at that? Would you take a look at that? Perfectly done corned beef and cabbage. 90 minutes. Look at that. It's falling apart. Well, there's what it looks like on the plate. Perfectly done carrot. 22 minutes. That's the answer. I thought they were too soft at first, but they're not. Everything is done to perfection. Meat's nice and tender. I'll tell you what, you can't go wrong with that. My first time in the Instant Pot for corned beef and cabbage, but I'll tell you what, from now on, that's the way I'm going to do it. No more crock pot. So there you have it. 1 hour in the crock pot with your brisket. 22 minutes with vegetables. Really the only time I seasoned it was when I put pepper on here at the end, other than the seasoning packet that went into it. And this is what you come up with. So there you have it. St. Patty's Day corned beef and cabbage done in the Instant Pot. Until next time.